How's it going, everybody? Decel is back, and it's time to go over another video. Now, I'm going to state this right away. There will be a disclaimer. This video is going to be very in-depth on Ring Engine, and not just Ring Engine itself, but also Hyper Ring Engine, and there's a very good reason to it. Now, I'm going to be comparing Ring Engine and Hyper Ring Engine in the respective tiers of which I think they're the best in, aka Ring Engine in Sonic Speed and Hyper Ring Engine in Supersonic Speed. I've been actually playing a lot more Supersonic Speed as of recently because of the fact that Hyper Ring Engine is actually viable, and Ring Engine's viable in Sonic Speed. I was actually going to make this video talking about how bad Ring Engine is, but after I practiced, these actually have a lot of viability in time trial, and there's some viability online. Now, there will be this disclaimer. At the end of the video, or nearing the end of the video, I will be going in depth on something very problematic about Ring Engine itself and the Ring Engine gadgets. This is going to have to pertain to something that the devs accidentally made an oversight about, or they had the game overwrite something. I don't know what happened, but let's just put it this way. There's a massive bug that is very beneficial to the players, but it is going to completely destroy the time trial leaderboard, and it's going to completely ruin a lot of the world records and a lot of the top 100 time leaderboard. So keep this in mind when I state this. You might lose your time trial time if you double stack Ring Engines, and I will go into more depth on that later. Let's just talk about this right away. So, Ring Engine. Now, Ring Engine is a gadget that is one slot. It will provide you with +3 flat speed, and it will give you +12 to all your stats when you have rings to burn. Now, this is actually not bad, all things considered. It's like you have a very consistent ring game boost in a sense with the 3 flat speed. Not only that, having 12 to all your stats, especially for stats like boost and speed, getting buffed is very, very beneficial. And for a one-slot filler, pairing this with like 130 ring could easily make you have a very, very good time in online, and you can run like Perfect Charge Bounty with Quick Charge level 2 and 3 with 130 ring and Ring Engine, and this gives you a very consistent and a much easier form of the time trial build. So it's very, very strong, very consistent. The thing is that comparing the time trial build to the Ring Engine build, you're a lot slower overall. Even though you have the +3 speed that's guaranteed, with Ring Game Boost, Perfect Charge Bounty, and Quick Charge level 2 and 3, you have higher speeds for longer. So basically what it is you have much higher highs, but your lows are a little bit lower with Ring Game Boost. But with Ring Engine, you have much lower highs, but much higher lows in a sense, right? And it's really cool for that reason, and it makes it very consistent, very simple for a lot of players, and it's very fun. Now, this gadget in terms of Sonic Speed, I think could actually help a lot of players to achieve S ranks very easily. I think it's actually very beneficial to a lot of players that don't know how to time trial very well. So overall, I think it's actually a good gadget. It's a pretty fun gadget, and we're going to go into Hyper Ring Engine. So all the footage you're seeing right now is Supersonic Speed footage, and you might notice that I have Hyper Ring Engine 130 ring, Perfect Charge Bounty, and Quick Charge level 2. If you are not used to seeing Supersonic Speed runs, then the thing with this is that Perfect Charge Bounty and Quick Charge level 2 are not supposed to be by themselves now, like counter quick charge or drift charge kit. So the fact that I'm running these without either of those gadgets is very interesting. And this has actually got to do with Hyper Ring Engine. So Hyper Ring Engine is a gadget that is 2 slots. It gives you +1 stat per ring that you have in your storage. So if I have 100 rings in my storage and I burn a ring, I will get +99 boost, speed, power, acceleration, and handling. And this stays consistent until you go to 0 rings. Now, the big thing is that obviously it's going to tick down. So when you go from 99 to 98, you'll have 98 in all your stats, and so on and so forth. This gadget's actually very good for Supersonic Speed because with Supersonic Speed, your speed translates much harder, and because of having higher boost, your boosts are a lot easier to get off. Obviously, when you have super high handling and you're going super fast, it feels like you're literally playing on an ice track, so it feels really weird and it feels really hard to control. But the thing is, Hyper Ring Engine does provide a lot of value for that reason, and this is why I was actually practicing a lot of my time trials in Supersonic Speed. I literally broke my Metal Harbor PB, I broke my Wonder Museum PB, I broke my Mystic Jungle PB, all by at least a second or two. Like, it was ridiculous. And this is not even stating that I haven't even gone super in depth or anything, and I haven't even been able to stream, nothing. And I'm already breaking PBs super easily. I mean, heck, the Metal Harbor and Wonder Museum PBs I broke in literally 1 to 4 attempts on each of them. It's literally ridiculous. Hyper Ring Engine on its own in Supersonic Speed actually has a lot of value to shake up the meta, and although counter quick charge has its benefits and it's very strong and it's going to be very, very powerful, especially with the fact that you get an instant start at max speed, Hyper Ring Engine does have its potential to actually be a good alternative gadget, and it potentially, if you're able to get to 100 rings extremely quickly, regardless of not having counter quick charge, it could even be the better of the 2 gadgets because you're getting so much more speed, especially with a handling vehicle, which is already super low speed as it is, and we're using characters like Shadow and Blaze to offset the speed difference, right? So I think Hyper Ring Engine has a lot of potential in Supersonic Speed, and it's very, very cool for that reason. Now, remember how I was talking about how the double Ring Engine stacking is going to be talked about later and how it's going to be a problem? I'm sorry, but I can't hold hold off any longer, let's just talk about this right now. So, double ring engine stacking has a very big problem, and if you want to be pure of heart and you don't want to know what's going on, I suggest you leave the video now, because at this point you are about to find out the biggest reason as to why ring engine stacking is very problematic and very bad to the game for time trial related reasons and even potentially online related reasons. If you guys are ready, let's get into this. Ring engine. Remember how I stated it gives you +3 flat speed and gives you 12 to all your stats? Hyper ring engine gives you +1 to all your stats, and it's based on the amount of rings you have in storage. Now, combining these two, it should lead to an issue where ring engine itself giving +12 stats is actually redundant, and you're getting +3 speed, and hyper ring engine is going to be giving you all your stats, right? So it should lead to an issue of redundancy where one of the others should just be taken off and it doesn't matter, right? Here's the problem. That is unfortunately not how the code works. So, from a code perspective, and I don't know the code, I haven't looked into it, I'm not anyone that's actually data mined the game, so take this with a grain of salt and do not take this as gospel. From my understanding, the game is basically having hyper ring engine be read over ring engine in a sense, and what's happening is ring engine's +12 stats is actually being applied as +12's flat speed instead of the +3 flat speed that it's supposed to have. Because of that, you were getting the situation where you're getting significantly more speed that you're not supposed to, and you only need one ring. Keep this in mind. You get that +12 speed from having one ring, and then the more rings you have, the longer you keep that speed, right? For Sonic speed, the max speed you can go, and I'm going to talk about Sonic speed more because this affects Sonic speed way more than supersonic speed, you go 200 at your max cap. So the max speed cap for normal speed in Sonic speed is 200 flat, right? With the double ring engine stacking, you were able to get 195, 196, and then when you get 40 to 45, maybe 50 rings in that range, you get 200 flat speed. And then as long as you hold above 50 rings, always are at the max speed cap of 200 without including your drift boost, your slipstream speed bonus, any of that. So you are basically in a situation where you are now going way too fast for what it's worth. And imagine this, you're in World Match, right? And you stack both and you get the immediate 30 starting boost from being in 9th through 12th place. You automatically have 12 more speed on everyone without having to do anything. And this doesn't include slipstream speed, this doesn't include drift speed, nothing. So this is a problem. This bug itself is a huge problem. It is something that I believe the devs might address. Now, why am I saying this to you guys? Why want to keep this hidden? Well, because I think hiding stuff is lame, and I think giving this out to the world is better, because we need to get this information out to Sega that this is bugged, because the whole time trial leaderboard is going to be in complete shambles. Like, let's put it this way. We already have a couple players that are already pushing the time trial leaderboards and improving all their PBs by using double ring engine, and I'm not saying that they're in fault, and I'm not saying they're bug abusing, nothing like that. They are just trying to improve their time trial times and to push it as far as possible. Their speedrun and competitive brains aren't fully firing on all cylinders. I do not blame them for doing what they're doing. I don't want people to say that they're bug abusing. I don't want to say they're cheating. They are literally playing what the devs have provided to us. And the thing is that these world record times that they're setting and these PBs they're setting might actually get removed from the leaderboard. So the thing is that this double ring engine setup is only going to be in the game for who knows how long, and there's potential that they remove it from the game entirely. And if the devs don't remove this from the game entirely, we get a situation where now the devs have allowed us to set impossible times that we can no longer beat no matter what we do. That itself is a huge red flag and a huge problem. We need to be able to find a way to stop the double ring engine, and they need to hotfix this ASAP before the time trial leaderboard gets completely out of control and ruined for the rest of the game. Because double ring engine being as bugged as it is and being as unfair as it is, the whole time trial leaderboard is basically going to be filled with unfair bugged times that basically don't translate out later as the game expands and later as the game progresses as a game. And it's going to make time trial feel like it's not nearly as impactful or as impressive as it once was, because a lot of these players that are getting these world record times or these top 10 times or things of that nature are literally seconds ahead of anyone else. And the fact that they're using a bug to now further that time gap is going to lead to a situation where people are like, oh, they're bug abusing, who cares? Their time is, they pretty much cheated, you know? They didn't get that legitimately. Even with the fact that they have to handle 100 handling, they have to practice their lines still, things of that nature, it's going to degrade how actually impactful their times are and how impressive their skill is as a player. And this is something that has to be addressed sooner rather than later, and the devs have to deal with this sooner rather than later. Don't get me wrong, I love the ring engine gadgets. They are super fun and they're super cool, but the thing is that when you can double stack them and completely abuse the whole fact that they are broken and are unfair in the current moment, this leads to a situation where now we're stuck with, do we accept the bug times as the norm, or are the devs going to address them and fix the time trial leaderboard, or are they going to just time trial lock all the good times behind the fact that you can no longer get actual world records without the bug time still staying there, you know what I mean? This is something I'm kind of fearful about, but I wanted to talk about this because this bug is very, very problematic, and it's something that needs to be addressed sooner rather than later, and I think players should at least know and try to give Sega a heads up and talk to them. Hey, Sega, there's a problem here. We are literally in a situation where there's a bug ruining the game for the time trialers, or just in general will ruin World Match and Legend Comp if it's allowed, you know what I mean? So hopefully the devs put out a hotfix patch, so hopefully the devs do something, but in terms of the gadgets without actually abusing the bug for them, they are actually both very strong in their own rights. Hyper Ring Engine is significantly better in supersonic speed because of how speed translates faster, how speed translates harder, and Ring Engine's better in sonic speed because it's a more consistent version of the current TT build, which is Quick Charge Level 2, 3, Perfect Charge Bounty, and Ring Game Boost 2. This is a much easier version of the build, and you can slam 130 ring with Ring Engine 1 slot. This gives you a much easier time to actually get all your S ranks, and this is the perfect time to actually practice time trial if you haven't wanted to practice it already. And in terms of World Match, all I can say is that probably want to use Ring Engine 1 with like Perfect Charge Bounty, Quick Charge 2, maybe Ring Game Boost, something like that. Maybe that's a good build. I don't know for sure. I haven't played World Match like I stated, but you guys are gonna have to keep experimenting. Let me know what your favorite Ring Engine builds are, because I'm very curious to hear that. Anyways, guys, this is just a quick update video on Ring Engine, and I really do think that they are very fun gadgets. They're very healthy on their own, not when they're paired together. I want to make that very clear that when they are paired together, they are very unfair, they're broken, and they just do not synergize well with the state of the game. I think it just leads to a lot of problems that could have been avoided if the devs would have really tested these further. And if the devs say this is actually not a bug and this was fully intended, then honestly, there's something very wrong with these two gadgets. And at that point, if the devs say that they are perfectly healthy to the game, screw it. Go have fun, use your favorite gadgets. It's all good. Even if you play these gadgets after you learned about the bug, hey, at the end of the day, this game is gonna be fun regardless, and you want to have fun the way you want to, go play the gadgets, go have some fun. Anyways, guys, that's all I wanted to say for this update video on the time trial related side, and a little bit about the World Match side with Ring Engine. Like I said, hopefully you guys enjoyed the video, hopefully you learned something about Ring Engine. Have yourselves a great one.